Welcome to the Chasing Spirituality podcast. I'm your host, Megan, and I'm so excited that you're joining me today. Each episode is full of heartfelt and expansive content that will really help you expand your consciousness and grow as a person. I created this podcast because I wanted to share my own personal experiences on my spiritual journey, but I also wanted to meet others and have them share what they've been through and how they've gotten to where they are today. If you haven't done so already, it would really mean a lot to me if you could rate and review the podcast. This really helps the podcast grow and reach more people, but it also allows me to get more guests on the show. Now on to today's topic. Today we're going to be talking to Zion. If you don't know who Zion is a collective consciousness that is connected to me and my soul group that I channel. And a lot of the messages that I talk about here on the podcast are directly from this collective consciousness, directly from Zion. I have a few other episodes where I've talked more about Zion and how I discovered who Zion was and how they started contacting me. But today Zion wants to talk about connections within our community and connections with our friends, connections with close friends, but also connections with people that we may never get super intimate with. Just on a scale, we're going to be talking about the different connections that we make. And what we want to say, first of all, is that for your own growth, it is very important that you eventually reach a step where, in order to keep going deeper into your own internal work, you have to grow your heart space. You have to grow your capacity for love and acceptance and understanding for others. So many of you have been doing internal work where you've been growing the capacity to love yourself. And while this is a lifelong journey, and the more you grow and the more you continue to move along your life, you will continue to do this internal work of learning to love yourself and be fully authentic in who you are. That will not go away. However, you've done so much work in this area that it's time to work on the love that you have for others. It's time to expand your heart. It's time to expand your heart space. Because our relationships, whether they are brief or whether they are forever, our relationships are a mirror to us. They are a reflection back to us of things that may be hidden, of things that we may not have full awareness of. This is really taking self-awareness and the depths of shadow work to a different level. Because when someone triggers you, that is a reflection of something within you that is triggered. They are reflecting to you what is triggering you. And it's up to you to go within and do that work. So many of you have already passed a lot of inner child work and what's happened to you in the past. Not that all of that is uncovered, not that we won't revisit that, but a lot of you are ready to now say, how is my community affecting me? How is society affecting me? How is my family, my friends, my acquaintances? How are all of these people affecting me? Do you still find yourself triggered in many relationships that you have? Okay, well, what are you doing to work through that trigger? What are you doing to heal that part of you, to have awareness around that part of you? You have to go deeper. Triggers are painting a picture for us of what's going on subconsciously. So it's up to you to take that situation and say, what am I feeling in this moment? Am I feeling violated? Am I feeling taken advantage of? Am I feeling angry? What's going on beneath the surface there? And then from there, you grow into making better choices to have more awareness around that aspect of yourself. Maybe that means you have to set firmer boundaries with certain people. Maybe that means you have to set certain boundaries with yourself. Maybe it means disconnecting from people who only drain and take from you. Maybe it means going deeper within and finding that core wound there that you still have. Is it something that you feel about yourself that prevents you from being fully authentic in those moments? This is what relationships can do for us when it comes to doing the inner work. But they also allow us to grow and expand our heart space. Because while doing all that inner work increases the capacity of love that we have for ourselves, we have to catch up with the capacity of love that we have for others. Otherwise, it's unbalanced. So we have to look at the patterns that we display within our outer connections. Do you tend to shut people out? Do you have a hard time opening up to new people? Do you find it difficult to be yourself around certain people or in groups or around new people? Is it harder for you to be authentic in your connections? We have to work through these ideas, through these beliefs, so that we can allow other people to inspire us. Sometimes someone comes into your life for a reason. And the reason may be to teach you a lesson. This person may not be permanent, but if they came into your life, trust that it is for a reason. Someone may come into your life just to pass along a quick message. It may literally be just your first encounter and you never see that person again. The person you least expect to fall in love with may become your new best friend. If you don't give yourself the opportunity to open your heart to others, then you're stifling your own capacity to love. You're stifling your own growth in your heart space. We have to get back to balance. We have to give other people the love that we've been giving ourselves. And you'll notice that when you do this, sometimes people come in because they have something for you. They have something that's going to help you, whether you realize it or not. But it's also the reverse. You usually have something that you can give them, show them, inspire them, teach them. There's always this give and take in our relationships, no matter how brief or how long they are. It's only when that energy becomes out of balance when the connection is normally severed or there are changes in the connection. But when we can find harmony with the people around us and not put expectations on how long it's going to last, what this means. Just live in the moment and let the moment show you what you need to see. Let the moment teach you what you need to be taught. I know for Megan, she struggles with letting in new people and not letting them in on a surface level. She's normally very kind and bubbly and sweet to everyone, but it's letting them in on a more intimate level where she's going to go out of her way to text them or call them. She's going to communicate with them on a more regular basis instead of just here and there. It's harder for her to let people in on a deeper level. She has her own wounds here about people taking too much, never giving back what she gives. But she's working through this because she is understanding that the more she opens up to people and the more she is truly and authentically herself and she doesn't put expectations or labels on herself and what her relationships mean, her heart continues to grow. So she is experiencing a up-leveling of that heart space. And we know that many of you are experiencing the same thing. And you have to trust that the people who come in to your life, there's going to be similar energetic connections, especially with the people that you're close to, the people that you do feel a stronger connection with, no matter how long you've known them. These people are definitely part of your soul group. They're part of your soul family. And you are all here to teach each other and learn from each other. If you look at these connections, you can usually see how you have either similar wounds, so that you guys can experience the healing of that together, or you have opposite, where one has healed a wound that you have, and you've healed a wound that they have, so that you can balance that, so that you can both teach and learn. Those people should be your closest connections. Those should be the people that you learn from. And you can learn just by observing. Sometimes when you have a similar wound that you're both working through at the same time, even if you're on different journeys or the wound came about in different ways, if the wound is still the same, you can still learn from each other in this human experience. Because let's say that they make a really bad decision, and you know that what drove them to make that decision is the same wound that you have, and that you could easily see yourself putting yourself in that same situation, getting yourself caught into that thing and having to learn that lesson the hard way, like your friend. Now you can learn from their experience, if you choose to. The choice is always yours, whether we want to learn the easy way or the hard way. But now you have someone to show you an alternative. And you do the same thing by being yourself, by being authentic, by working on your own wounds, by having self-awareness. You help your closest connections. You help your soul family, and your soul family helps you. But we can't be afraid to let new people in. We can't be afraid to expand our connections, to grow in our community. Because then we have all of these people to learn from and all of these people to teach. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't done so already, it would really mean a lot to me if you would take time to rate and review. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. This is for anyone who resonates with this podcast and is interested in more spiritual content. Have you checked out the Chasing Spirituality community? Well, you can find out more on my website, chasingspirituality.com. But this community is a wonderful place for you to meet like-minded people, but also be supported in your own authentic expression as you go on your spiritual journey and you learn more about fascinating topics as well as exercise your own spiritual and intuitive gifts. We have lives every single month. There's meditation videos and courses and tons of extra bonus content and videos. So if you're interested in more content, please go check that out. We would love to have you.